Spirit Walker, Chapter 7. We're on Wolf's point of view, which is always really good. Sorrow ran with Wolf like an unseen pack-brother. He missed Tall Tailless. He longed for his odd, furless face and his wavering howl, for the strange, breathless yip and yowl, which was his way of laughing. Many times Wolf had loped off alone to howl for him. Many times he had run in circles, wondering what to do. He was caught between the pull of the mountain and the pull of his pack-brother. The other wolves, the wolves of his new pack, were puzzled. "You have us now, and you're not yet full grown. You have much to learn. You don't know how to hunt the great prey. How would you survive on your own? Stay here with us." They were a strong, close pack, and there had been times when he'd been happy on the Thunderous Mountain. They'd played uproarious games of Hunt the Lemming. They'd leapt into lakes to frighten ducks. But the other wolves did not understand. Wolf was thinking of this as he raced to his favourite ridge to catch the smells wafting from the forest. The forest was many lopes away, but he caught the muzzle-watering scent of a newborn fawn, and the sharp smell of tree blood oozing from a wind-snapped spruce. He heard the slow sucking sound of a boar turning over in its wallow, and the squeak of an otter cub falling off a branch. He longed to be in the forest with Tall Tailless, but how could he ever go back? It wasn't only the thought of leaving his pack which stopped him. It was the Thunderer. The Thunderer would never let him go. The Thunderer could attack at any time. Even now, when the up was bright and clear, and there was no sign of its angry breath, it could flatten the forest with storms, and send down the bright beast that bites hot to blast trees, rocks, wolves. It was all-powerful. Wolf knew that better than most, because it had taken his pack when he was a cub. He'd gone off to explore, and when he'd come back, the den had been gone. His whole pack, mother, father, pack-brothers, had lain wet and cold and not breath in the mud. The Thunderer hadn't needed to come close to destroy them. It had sent the fast wet roaring down from the mountains. Wolf had been lonely and frightened and very hungry. Then Tall Tailless had come. Tall Tailless had shared his kills with him and let him curl upon top of him to sleep. He had howled with him and played tag with bits of hide. Tall Tailless had become his pack-brother. Tall Tailless was a wolf, of course. Anyone could smell that, but he wasn't a normal wolf. The fur on his head was long and dark, but the rest of him was without fur, and instead had a loose overpelt, which he could take off. His face was flat, and his poor little teeth were hopelessly blunt, and strangest of all, he had no tail. But he sounded wolf, even if he'd never hit the high yips, and his eyes were true wolf eyes, pale grey and full of light. Above all, he had the heart and spirit of a wolf. As Wolf stood on the ridge, sadness filled his chest. He put up his muzzle and howled. That was when the new smell hit his nose. Not hunter or prey, not tree or earth, or fast wet, or stone. This was bad. Something bad blowing through the forest. Wolf whimpered with anxiety. His pack-brother was down there, in the badness. Suddenly, everything was clear. The Thunderer might come after him, but Wolf couldn't let that stop him any longer. Tall Tailless needed him. Wolf leapt down from the ridge and started for the forest. He ran for 2 darks and lights, keeping the mountains at his tail and heading for where the hot bright eye sinks down to sleep. Fear snapped at his hind paws. He feared the anger of the stranger wolves whose ranges he crossed. If they caught him, they might tear him to pieces. He feared the wrath of the Thunderer. But worse than that, he feared for his pack-brother. As he ran, the smell grew stronger. Something stalked the forest. Tirelessly Wolf wove between the trees, seeking the Taillesses. Some of their pack smelt like boar, some like otter, but the one he sought smelt like raven. That was the pack Tall Tailless had joined. At last he found it on the banks of a furious fast wet. As he'd expected, nobody knew he was here. That was one of the odd things about Taillesses. Although in many ways they were like true wolves, being clever and brave, with a fondness for talking and playing, and a fierce love for their pack, they couldn't smell at all, and they were practically deaf. So Wolf went unobserved as he roamed the edge of the den, seeking his pack brother. He couldn't find him. It had rained the previous night, and many scents had been washed away, but if Tall Tailless had been here, Wolf would have smelt him. Then he caught the scent of the lead wolf, who sat by the bright beast that bites hot, as Taillesses loved to do. Beside him crouched the half-grown female who was pack sister to Tall Tailless. She was speaking to the lead wolf in the yip and yowl of Tailless talk, and she sounded both angry and sad. Wolf sensed that the female was worried about Tall Tailless. Running up and down, Wolf sought his pack brother. He found a big bare patch that smelt of new ash, and some strange straight trees from which hung many fish. He paused, only to gulp down a few before heading back into the forest to seek Tall Tailless. Maybe his pack brother had gone hunting. Yes, that must be it. And he couldn't have gone far, because like all Taillesses, he ran on his hind legs, which made him slow. But though Wolf searched and searched, he found nothing. The awful truth crashed down on him like a falling tree. Tall Tailless was gone.